Ladies and gentlemen, you thought I forgot about this one, this banger of a game, but you better believe I didn't think about it. You gotta wake up pretty early in the morning if you think we're gonna forget about a banger game. Now there is half truths. I did walk away from this. I haven't played it for about a month, but it's still been like ripe on my mind. And I think with the channel, I started so many games and I haven't finished half of them because I'm kind of just experimenting at this point to see what people like, and I want to make sure I have a good balance of what is easy to record, that I enjoy playing, that others enjoy watch. You know, I don't want to be too selfish and just play whatever I want because that's not going to be good for community building, etc., etc., etc. However, I also don't like starting something and not finishing it, especially a game like this where I know a good chunk of you were actually enjoying this one, and I'm enjoying it, and it's not crazy long of a game. So if I just dedicate a little bit of time to it, I can probably get it done, and I want to see the conclusion. So here we are. It may be less often, maybe like once a week. I'm planning to somehow get a strict schedule so people can expect things better. But we're gonna run with it. And if I remember correctly, we had some money. We just went and solved the mystery of that broken wagon and then got absolutely mauled by a couple of goblins. And here we are. We have some hearts. We have a single gold coin left. And you know what we're gonna do with that gold coin? You think we're gonna save it and buy something that's gonna help us in our journey? Absolutely not. We're gonna throw some axes. I'm ready when you are. Let's go. Let's go. All that gambling wasting. We've gained experience in the. What are we at now? We have slight gambling experience. Holy crap. We just got 3 gold doubloons. Between the thudding of axes, there's plenty of time for casual gossip. After getting the 4th point, the other players nod with respect. That's right, you bend the knee. You hear from Dallied as she hands you your dragon bones. The other participants carry away the remaining planks. Get wrecked, fools. They have taken so much of my gold. Now we're getting back. Alright, we already played today. I walk away. I enter the inn. I enter the innkeeper. We're not entering any innkeepers. Calm yourself down, everybody. Show me your wares. What can I spend with my hard-earned money? Got $4. Oh, we got the gold that we bet back and an additional 3. We can get some quarrels. An elk fur would be... I don't know. I don't know what that would be, to be honest. Alright, so I'm gonna save. So we never lose that money again. We could... Like, we got 2 vitality. I was kind of thinking of just resting and doing work, but these guys... It didn't seem like I could ask for work at this location. I think I have to go to the city to ask about work. Let's see, if I go outside, the armor is nowhere. Or maybe I have to wait a little bit. What if I rest? What if I just rest for a little bit? We're gonna do a little rest. Gain a heart back. We still got food in our belly. This is great. It's been a lazy day. Repairing the equipment and stuff, that's fantastic. This guy's still here. We don't want to talk to him. I go outside. The armorer is still nowhere in sight. What's going on? Is it nighttime? 45 minutes before dusk. I think we just gotta sleep. I go to the well. Alright. Sleep. This is you know what? We're gonna rent a room. We earned it. We just won an axe throwing competition. We gotta celebrate in style. Full vitality. It's never been done before. We had a bath. I got excited there. I almost choked. Alright, we got 3 gold coins left. Let's not do anything too rash. I'm quick saving. I take another look at the main hall. We don't need to ask about somebody. We don't need to do anything of this. Let's go outside. I approach the guards. Oh, what do you think, lads? What are the odds that we get lucky 2 times in a row? Let's go! I gotta do this every day. Can I just like? Oh my god! I don't want to start like. I don't want to start save scumming. I'm very tempted to start save scumming. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. We managed to get a double win. We walk away. We walk away with our well-earned our winnings. We gotta travel. We gotta do something in this game. We can't just gamble for the rest of our lives. Okay, so there was more to go up here. I think that's the direction we want to go in. I remember we're still just trying to gather information. There's a guy here like Quintus or something like that we need to get money for him to travel back. I don't know why. I don't want to pay him money. There's a whole plague going on up in old Pagos. All right, let's travel this way. As long as you ride uphill, the forest is sparse. Soon after, the tree roots tear the path apart. The road is coated with branches, acorns, leaves, and chestnuts roasting on an open fire, and some seedlings have already broken through the pitted surface of the road. I left undisturbed for another year or two. I don't know if you heard that. For some reason, there's like a strange duck outside my window. I doubt you heard it. I don't think Wait. Is that inside the game? Is that some kind of quack inside the... That has to be. Okay, I'm wearing bone conducting headphones, so it helps me not get like a headache when I'm reading too much, because this game you gotta read a lot. I'm going on a tangent, but because it's bone conducting, this sounds like it's in my real, like my condo. It sounds like it's right outside, that there's a duck. This is freaking me out. I can't concentrate. All right. The road is covered with branches. We got chestnuts on an open fire. Pitted surface of the road. If left undisturbed for another year or two, the forest will reclaim this place. Finally, you ride upward again. The plants are getting smaller. The road more rocky. I sigh with relief. I really hope that duck was in the game now. Because if you guys weren't hearing a duck, maybe I'm going crazy. I've been doing this too long. I gotta take a break. While the hills are full of life, you don't hear anything coming from the watchtower. Its upper level lacks a wooden platform from which the guards could fire their crossbows or drop stones on the opponents below. That's the strategy to do. Just throw rocks at them. That has to be in the game, right? I'm not going crazy. That is an angry ass duck. Holy. This place was not meant to be used in combat, but rather as a shelter from claws and fangs. There's a lot of ideas of this where it's like shelter from the horrible creatures that roam the lands. Such structures can be found in especially untamed parts of the Dragonwoods, used occasionally by travelers or patrolling squads. Since the end of the war, the cities can't find enough people and dragon bones to keep them in good shape. You see no footsteps, no lights, no fresh trash, or a latrine. The birds are preening there. Can you just calm down? Jesus! I'm about to use my teacher voice. While the branches of nearby trees are swaying in the fierce, cold wind, I look for tracks I saw near the fallen tree. I approach the entrance. I take a look at the signpost. I walk to the gate. Maybe there's something interesting among the mighty spruces. I examine the campfire spot at the fence. We're gonna just look at the signpost. You know, we're readers. We don't just walk into a place all willy-nilly. The planks and letters are damaged by decades of rain, frost, borers. What's a borer? And claws. You scratch off some of the moss. There are 3 planks on the signpost, each one pointing at... I can't with this duck. The letters don't tell you anything. The plank on the top points both sound... Stop it! But there are no pictures that would tell you anything more than that. The one beneath it points east, and there's a word written in blue paint. The arrow here looks more like a magic wand. The bottom plank has a picture of a tall tower surrounded by little houses and points west. The wood is covered in red paint, suggesting danger. Okay. So, west is danger. West is danger because there's little houses. We don't want to go westward, but we're going to. I look for tracks I saw near the fallen tree. General update, fallen tree. The tracks lead here through the narrow gate, then west. The hard heels are especially noticeable. Okay. So the fallen trees. Did someone like cut down a tree and then bring the lumber? We see some log piles over here. What's this fish doing? We got some log piles here, a campfire. So I guess someone went, they cut down the tree, they brought back here maybe to cook some freshly caught meat. I don't see any fishing spots. Can you please? Oh my god. Maybe there's something interesting among the mighty spruces. It must be a human-made copse. Only the smallest of the spruces are out of order, born of wild seeds. The largest trees are as tall as the tower itself, which surely doesn't help those who were meant to observe their surroundings. There are also some stumps, most of which used to belong to young saplings. The trees were likely meant to be sold to carpenters and coopers. but they were left alone many years ago. There is also a very annoying duck that is screaming in the distance, and you decide to walk over to the duck and strangle it. You strangle him. In the copse, you find wild fennel and lettuce thriving in shadows, and there are pears and berries growing among nearby trees and shrubbery. My voice is going to be... I'm screaming too much at the beginning. I can't let the duck get to me. I can't let him win. That's what he wants. He wants me to stumble on my words. He wants me to get angry and shout and damage my throat so I can't go and film Quasimorph later on. All right. Let's take a look at the... Ooh, fruits and vegetables should be easy on open hill. I spend half an hour foraging. Absolutely. 2 bunches of wild plantains. Gordon grazes at the fence while you cross the short meadows. Anytime I see Gordon's name in the story, I get excited. Seeking edible leaves of fennels, sorrel, I thought it said squirrels, and lettuce that hide in the shadows of spruce trees, forcing you to get on your knees and push the branches away. After some time, with needles in your hood and sleeves, you carry the vegetables to the gate, washing them in your water skin and spreading them on a blanket, allowing them to dry up. As you pick the very few remaining pears and berries, you notice a wide tree hollow. You take a look inside and find a stash of acorns and chestnuts, but also hazelnuts and walnuts. Sweet! I just love, because it's like a medieval world, you know, akin to something like The Witcher. And the character just goes, oh, sweet. That's awesome. Sweet, more food for me. Squirrels will need them more. I take the fruit. Squirrels? What? More food for me? You gather a nude... Oh, wait a minute. I think there was a... Isn't there a character thing about spared animals? Uh-oh. I am not going to spare that freaking goose, duck, whatever it is, beast of the wilderness of the mighty spruces. All right, you pick enough out of the stomach-friendly nuts to satiate a day-long hunger of even a portly human. Does that just give us rations? We have freaking 6 rations and 2 wild plants. I agree, Mr. Duck. Let's examine the campfire. You see a shattered bowl, the remains of a meal from many years ago. However, the firewood and the lonely stool are not too old. Is it a stool of sitting on? Is it a stool of the poop variety? Because that's very important. If there is a fresh defecation in this region, we're not alone. Is it human-sized? You don't doubt about the watchtower seems less threatening to wayfarers in the wilderness around it. Okay. I approach the campfire. Spot. You have 1 raw fish in your possession. What would you like to do? I don't need more for... I cook a fish. We're living in the wilds. You prepare the captured creatures. You cut through the stomach, removing the guts with your fingers. Then you pierce through the animal with a pointed stick. I don't know why whenever it comes to gutting things, I have to like pull out my Scottish accent, which is I don't even know if it's fully Scottish accent. It's some kind of amalgamation. Keeping it at a safe distance, you roast it slowly until both of its smells prepared. I gather some firewood for another day. Why am I doing all that stuff? We're here to investigate. Oh, look at that. It lit on fire. That's cute. I step away. I'm not planning to stay here the night, but maybe we... What the hell was that? Was that my stomach? I'm gonna turn up the ambience for you guys a little bit, just in case it's hard of hearing. I want you to be just as annoyed as I am with this freaking duck. I walk to the gate. Setting up a firm wall in a place like this is a bit unusual. It goes for no more than 40 feet until it connects with a natural rock face. Such a structure could be found near the city, acting as a checkpoint at which to stop any travelers to search through their belongings or request a fee. But in the middle of nowhere, deer and other animals used to running here with no hindrance must have been more than annoyed. A risky investment. Yes, do not anger the deer and wild animals. You touch the gate made of highly quality wood. Previously soaked in oil. Now mostly wiped off. It was left open, and you don't see any wooden bar that would be used to lock it. You try to move the cold planks buried in dried out mud, but with no luck. It would require some wearying digging. Covered in oil. Was this place like burnt down? Or is that just normal? Like it's oil for the hinges so it goes back and forth without the squeak. Nothing pisses me off more than a squeaky door. And I'm telling you, okay, slight banter. We're going a little bit off track, but that's what you're here for. I got a... When I bought my condo, this was a couple years back, It was a pre-built, so I bought it before it was built. So this was a freshly built building, a freshly built building. And when this happens, when you get a brand new place, if you don't have the humidity level in check, as the temperatures fluctuate during the seasonal changes, the wood will warp a little bit. You see, the wood warps. So like half of the year, my doors are screaming at me. They're screaming. I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and the door screams at me. And before you get all crazy, I'm like, yes, I adjusted the hinges. Yes, I tweaked it. Yes, I got some WD-40 and rubbed on it. Nothing solves the problem. Everything just unaligns itself. I'm gonna have to, like, I don't even know what to do. But anyway, why am I talking about that? Oh yeah, because this door has oil on it. All right, let's get back to the action. If this is what action is, I approach the entrance. We got to go inside here. Look, I see a broken arrow at the top. This might be connected to the goblins. Wait. This is following the story, right? The people traveled up here, so we're following the tracks of the people that were, like, stolen. You take a look at Gordon. Oh, hell yeah. If necessary, it could bow its head, and you walk inside. This place should be a decent shelter for both of you. The planks are strong, heavy, well protected from rain and wind, and when you knock, they seem to be thick. While the door shakes at your push, it won't open. Defensive structures usually have a locking bar on the inner side, but you also see a large keyhole. You walk around the tower, making sure there are no open windows or other entrances. It doesn't look like you can get in without destroying the door, and doing so is going to make a potential entryway for wild creatures. Yeah, we don't want to break this down. We don't really need to stay here yet. Let's look through the keyhole. You kneel down and take a peek. There's nothing in the hole, but the room is dark, with tiny bits of light passing through the crevices of the windows. You see the shapes of wooden furniture like tables, casts, and a ladder. But the only movement you notice belongs to the dust dancing in sunbeams. We're not going to break through it because this could be a very important place in the future. I think we're going to be able to find the key. I bet you the key belongs to those little banditos. This is probably where they were held up. I'll return to the crossroads. So I think there's nothing more for us to do here, sadly. But we did get a nice cooked fish and some wild berries. I hope they're... Well, you know what? I've had this rant before. I'm not a fan of blueberries. Why would you choose blueberries? If you had to choose any kind of fruit that's presented in front of you, any fruit, any single fruit in this world, and it's presented in front of you in a platter, on a table, who's going to choose blueberries? I'm sorry. Be honest. Like, blueberries are good. I'm not saying they're yucky, but who's going to choose those over, like, a strawberry? Who's going to choose blueberries over a nice dragon fruit? Or a lychee, if that's even how you pronounce it. But nobody's going to do that. However, they are highly healthy, and I eat blueberries every day. So do what you will with that. We have multiple directions to go in. Okay. This seems like that's the west, right? That's blood. We don't want to go to the west yet. Let's go to the east. Easterly winds, everybody. Oh, we might be able to go fishing. The first part of the trail is narrow and overground. The steep crag in the south divides the lush forest in half. You barely recognize any shapes in the entanglement of grays, browns, and greens. The northern landscape, while similarly impenetrable, is the exact opposite. The meadow turns into barren hills and mountains, barely covered by grass and bushes. Maybe the riding ibexes of the clans people from the growing mountains would get through such a barrier. I know what these are. I just don't know how to pronounce it. There are no clans here. Cutscene. Point at this icon to display an entire area at once. What? Oh. Look at that. There's some kind of gargoyle. What a TV show, by the way. Gargoyles. Any 90s kids out there? Or wait. I was born in the 80s. Late 80s. But like the 90s television cartoons. Unrequittable. Is that even a word? They're great. Freaking gargoyles. That Lexington guy? Get out of here, Lexington. Anyway. The road leads you downhill to the edge of a lake. The clearing around the dwelling is quiet, with no crickets, flies, or even toads. The grass is not even knee-high. There are no signs of a wharf or boats. Wharf! Star Trek! The wall wasn't coated, and has already been bitten by winds and rains. Why is Worf my favorite character? Because when I was a kid and my dad loved Star Trek, he watched all the time, Star Trek Next Generation. I would always get enthralled with Worf because he would go in there and he would get prune juice. He would get prune juice and he would drink the prune juice and he would say, "Oh, a warrior's drink." And because I was like a little kid and highly influential, once I heard warriors drink, like I was manipulated. Like my mom forced me to watch that episode because then I was manipulated to drink prune juice. So I could have regular bowel movements. Let's continue. I look for an entrance. Right next to the gate, a gargoyle. A gargoyle or a stone lookalike kneels on a... What is that? A gargoyle or a stone lookalike kneels on a slab. It's dark purple, almost black, with yellow pointy teeth. With sharp pointy teeth. Though its half-open mouth has no tongue, and the creature doesn't even move an inch, the eyes have been replaced by crystals, red like currant juice. I want to touch it. I knock on the gate. Anyone home? I touch the gargoyle. I push the gate. We are people of pleasantries. We are, you know, we keep ourselves to a high degree of candor. You understand? We do not just open doors. You see? We knock. We present ourselves. We do not fear the unknown. We scream at the unknown. We will present ourselves with candor. This person clearly is a man of great taste. He has a gargoyle sculpture filled with garnets. I knock on the gate. Finding no knocker, you use your fist. There's no response. Anyone home? Your voice is welcomed by the screeching of dozen avian throats. Is that what we were hearing before? It's the frickin' lair of the ducks. His eyes are glowing. I don't think that was there before. Was that there before? They take off from behind the wall, heading toward the lake. After a few breaths, the eyes of the gargoyle grow brighter. What's with all the ape shouts? You lost? The words are coming from the monster's mouth, though it's remained still. Stand in front of me. I want to see ya mug. The drawing voice belongs to a woman. Whoops. But it's lined with unnatural creaking. How would you do like a voice that has unnatural creaking in it?
Stand in front of me. I want to see ya mug.
I'm sorry. I step closer. The eyes don't rotate nor blink.
So who are ye?
Should we be friendly? Oh, well, Stoutworthy, the new Roadwarden. I hope you're having a great day. I think that's a little too friendly. That is so friendly that like, that's not really... That's suspicious. If someone came to my front door and I was some kind of lich lord, because this person's clearly some kind of lich lord, right? And they came and they didn't just introduce themselves. They told me what their job was, and then they declared that I'm having a great day before I can even respond, like with the back and forth frivolities. No. This guy has an ulterior motive. I must say, as a Roadwarden, I've seen some disgusting beasts, but you surely have the kindest voice of them all. This could be nice. You know? It's a lady who has that door screeching voice. I bet you she doesn't hear that often. You know, I bet you she is not used to someone complimenting that voice. This could get us in. I'm the Roadwarden. This is normally what we do. But in this case, we're on the job. I'm the new Roadwarden. I value my time. Oh, that's also kind of what Stoutworthy would do. Right to the business. I'd like to ask you a few questions, if that's fine with you. I wonder how much this actually affects the game. I think I gotta turn down the volume a bit. We've passed the duck. We don't need to worry about the duck anymore. Let's try there. Let's try and, like, you know, be a little playful. Yeah, let's try and be a little playful. The kindest voice of them all. During the long pause, the glow of the gargoyle's eyes subdue. Once they light up again, the voice gets even colder. I don't know what answer you're looking for, so you'll get none. Do you even know who I am? Okay, it didn't work on her. She's hardened. Oh, but of course. I don't, I'm afraid. I think at this point we're not going to try and live this lie. She seems to be quite smart. So you lost your way, and now you're wasting my time. Long pause. I'm Eudocia, the only enchantress you'll find in this land. And you're disturbing my work. I don't see people in the middle of the day. Return in the early morning or a few hours before dusk if you have to. Best yet, don't bother me at all. The monster's eyes darken again. Your mount is ready to ride away. What? We gotta come back in the early morning? Why don't you... she works just in the mornings and then she closes the door? What a bum. It will make her angry, but I touch the gargoyle's head. I'm afraid I have to speak with you right now. I wait for as long as it takes to let her in. Okay. Now we don't. We're the Roadwarden here. Aren't we like the police force pretty much? We're knocking on your door and she's saying, come back tomorrow morning because it's the afternoon? I have to speak with you right now. I don't even know why I have to speak with you. But we need to. A long pause as the mother goes red. Go inside. I'll be with you soon. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The monster's eyes darken again. Soon after, you hear heavy steps and the earth shakes. Something lifts the beam blocking the gate. You realize that your hand is already on the haft of your axe. I try to relax. I'm safe. I trust this woman. She's just doing business. You know? One day, such instincts are going to save my life. Nah, we're fine. We're fine. The gate opens violently and rebounds with a loud thud, almost closing in. The creature in front of you is made of floating rocks that appear to be connected, but it's just an illusion. They could twist and bend in every direction. The eyeless sentinel faces you blankly. You've seen other golems in Hovleven endlessly helping with bothersome tasks, but you've no idea what makes them move. It lowers its slab-like hands and steps aside, making way for you. Its head rotates, following your steps. But other than that, it's as motionless as a statue. Okay, this person means business. This thing can probably just crush our face in an instant. The house in front of you has a huge entrance, just large enough for a golem. The building is whitewashed, but the lime is aged and damaged. The tools are spread around in no particular order. The rocks resting on top of the shed resemble the golems. The garden patches, covered with herbs and vegetables, are neglected. It's quiet here. Let's approach the golem. What's up? It seems dead. Inactive, as city folk will call it, but the Pneuma still makes its chunks float less than an inch away from one another. It doesn't react to your presence. Unlike the previous golem, this one bears engraved signs on its larger rocks. Their meaning is unclear to you, and you can't tell if they're a decoration or carriers of a spell. A leaf of the doors opens. I step closer. The woman is tall and stands upright with her arms crossed and legs apart. She's more than 30, with a face touched by lack of sleep. She gives you a long look, observing your blade, hands, boots, forehead, everything but your eyes. I greet ye. Without the distortion caused by the gargoyle, her strong voice isn't as disquieting. No surprise that I caught your eye, but don't disturb it. It's very much awoken and will defend itself, or me if it comes to it. I give her a better look. Yes, her voice is going to change 100 times. I'm indecisive. I'm indecisive. But we got an interesting person, so I'm imagining this now. She's walking out like a Superman kind of pose, standing there with a cape kind of flowing in the wind. And she's tired, so I'm guessing this is the kind of person, and I lived a life like this for a long time, where you wake up at extremely early hours in the morning to get the work done. But because of that, you need to take an afternoon nap. So I think she needs an afternoon nap, and I just walked in there and kind of disturbed her and said, like, you're not napping, we're talking right now. And I don't even know what we're talking about. She's gonna be pissed. I give her a better look. She's wearing a long, ragged robe covered in stains. It used to be blue, but now is unevenly pale. She's barefoot, with skin covered with dust and dirt. Her dark hair was recently washed, but it's untidily spread on her shoulders, back, and chest. She wears no jewelry, belt, or buckles. She is not one who cares for the trinkets and baubles. Be supportive and cordial. I'm glad you have a moment to spare. I won't bother you. I think at this point we do want to shift to a little bit of a friendly. We were firm. You know, we tried to be flirtatious. We were firm. She respected our firmness. Now we have to, we respect back. Like, I respect this woman as a business, get to the point person. Let's get to it. But she also doesn't want us to waste time, probably. I don't say anything. Oh, maybe she respects just getting to the point, you know? We'll try and be friendly. We're gonna be cordial. She looks to the ground and draws out her words. I sure hope not. I'm not interested in this chatter. If you need to bother me, speak in the tongue of dragons and barter. I don't serve stew. I don't offer baths. If you come here, I better get aught from it. Ah, shut. She walks past you and cocks her head toward the golem who let you in. It turns around and shuts the gate. I let you in this time, but it won't happen again. Not during my work. If you ever come back here in the middle of the day, you'll stand outside looking at the doors like an ibex. What are these people, these ibexes? We don't need more salutations. So, her voice remains cold. Why are you here? That's a great question. I was hoping you could fill an item of mine with Pneuma. I don't think we have any jars. Can you fill this fish with Pneuma? A weird root. What the hell? Can we do something? That sounds spicy. I'm looking for a Asterion. The previous Roadwarden. Nah, he's not here. Not even a mouse in my shed. She meets her eyes, yet her gray irises remain absent. Her sigh turns into a snort. Aught else? Surely you filled some arrows with Numa before. Any ideas where this is from? I show her the one that I found near the fallen tree. Okay, now we're onto something. Holy crap, there's a lot. Have you ever been to the shortcut? I've heard about some bands. Don't they bother you? So what's your story? Why do you live so far from the village? I bring news in the west. Old Pegasus is facing a plague. I have some questions about... Like, this person might be able to help with the plague if she's, like, knows about the Numa and things like that. What do they mean? This is all, like... We gotta be friends if we want to talk about this stuff. We're not there yet. We gotta be straight to the point. We're involved in an investigation. Why are you tracing a murderer? She smirks, but then grabs the arrow and takes a quick look. Black and orange. I don't know much about wood, but I recognize these feathers. The people of Gale Rocks breed such pheasants. She gives it back. It's in the far north, close to the coast. Or we can go there. That's good. I've heard about some bandits. Let's talk about the plague. Let's go to the plague. That's direct information. She stands still. Come again? When you describe the symptoms, she starts to fidget and finally interrupts you. Cut it. Have you heard aught about Eulalia and Irenaeus? They're about 50-55, a mason and a sculptor. Her eyes are getting bad. He has a limp. I never entered the gate. She rubs her arms above her elbows as if to warm herself up. If you ever ride there again, she meets your eyes. Ask around, please. I need to know. Okay, we got her. We got her. So when we're back over there, we can get her and we're going to become friends with this lady. And then we're going to be able to get something about Asterion. All right. Any bandits bothering you? She puts her hands on the sides and straight, displaying her unusual height. Is this another sick game of hers? If so, tell her I'm not interested either in her head or her offers. You notice the sudden movement of her golem. Uh-oh. She didn't like that. Enchantment. Have you ever been to the short... Let's see what you get. Anything interesting to sell? Oh, new train unlocked. I do find stuff people ask me about, and they're not for sale. She glances at the house, then towards the pocket in her on her hips. There's but one tool that I'm willing to part with for 9 bones, but it's for spellcasters only. She reaches out to you. On her open palm, you see a flat, small pebble, bluish, but not in no way unusual. You put it in your mouth and press it onto your palate. No chewing. She smirks. If you're a sorcerer, it will restore Yanuma. Can we become a... Oh, wait, we chose a class at the beginning, right? So that's not going to help us. What if it's used by someone who still has Numa in them or can't use magic? Why a pebble? Wouldn't a potion be it? Oh, you don't want to do that. She grabs the end of her hair. It will boil your blood and rip your skin apart. Each shell is like a bottle of Numa. It has its limits. You can train to contain more of it, like I've been doing for more than 20 years now, but there's no magical rock that's going to do it for you. Okay. We don't need to talk about that. I found a barren field that may be affected by a curse. Do you have anything I could use to see if I'm right? A cursed field? Where'd you find this stuff? As you explain briefly, she observes your boots. I know the place, but she steps away and approaches the garden patch by her house. She observes it for a moment, then kneels down, paying no attention to her robe, and reaches for a wooden spade. What she digs out looks like a tree sapling with 2 leaves that are as large as a hand and a thin elastic stalk. It's shorter than your head. Would you look at that? Still green. Give me 2 dragons, and I'll put it in a bag with soil. It should survive at least a couple of days. How does it work? She straightens up. Well, you plant it, of course. Wait for half an hour, and you'll see. If it grows an inch, she frowns, raises the plant to her eyes, and grunts. Forget it. If it bursts into bloom, the soil is enchanted. If it withers, it's cursed. Stays the same, no Numa. She lowers it again. Just be careful when you do it. It loves fogs. So it's a plant that grows by magic. Yes, and it costs 2 dragons. I don't know if I trust this person. What, do you even have such a thing? Are there many magic fields around? What? No, she snorts, but these plants are the only stuff I can think of right now. I'm trying to make the plant grow without sunlight, using just water, soil, and Numa. I'll know I'm there once it starts to bear fruit. She glances at you. I swear, I don't even mention mushrooms. You ask her about the purpose of it all. But she just plays with her hair and looks towards the gate. Just a hobby of mine. I feel like this is going to do absolutely nothing. I think she's just screwing us over. But at the same time, we got the money. What if it's right? I'll take it. You bought the sapling. She lets out a satisfied grunt. Yeah, I think we just got screwed. I think we just got screwed. Eudocia sapling, an herb that's meant to change its leaves when planted in soil, storing large amounts of pneuma. Okay. Looking for a job. Can you fill an item of mine with pneuma? That's not how it works. She points at her golems. Her nails are short and clean, and her hands are soft. I work all the time, but each item takes me days, sometimes a full season. The tribes bring me things to enchant in the early spring, and collect them a year later. I've got to... She blinks a few times, not sure what to say. Her gray eyes widen. Imagine stuff. It takes great focus. You mentioned that you generously reward her, but she only shrugs. You don't plant, you don't build. I won't eat dragon bones. For now, do your warden duties and come by the end of autumn. Maybe I'll have time to get something done for you after the thaws. Okay, I'll think about it. Yeah, what's your story? No. No what? I'm not here to tell you bedtime stories or hear about your own life. She lets it alongside, trying to limit her frustration. Back off. Alright, she doesn't like that. Have you ever been to the shortcut? Only once, she admits slowly, and it's not a good memory. Her brief tale is rather vague. She once had to use her golems to travel to the other side, seeking a remedy for her stomachache. The beasts were afraid of the noise they make. She points at the massive stone legs of her creations, but the monkeys in the far west were too dumb even for that. They kept throwing things at us, even poop. She pauses, making a disgusted grimace. We couldn't reach them or scare them away. You ask what happened next, but she crossed her arms. I was told it's better to ignore them. Let them get used to one sight, but my stomach was better already, so we just took the long way back. Alright. I'm looking for a job. Oh! She stands still for a moment, then cocks her head to the side. I've got some stuff that could use another hand. Yep, for some danger if it comes to that. You nod and ask what sort of creature is bothering her. Nah, I meant riding and climbing. If you can do it without grabbing that axe of yours, fine. Now give me a moment. She opens one of the heavy doors to her house, and you catch a glimpse of a messy bed and a floor covered with clothes. After a minute, she shows up with a large sack filled with rods made of smooth, clean bronze. Here's the gist of it. I need you to get 8 spots across the peninsula. High buildings, trees, mountainsides. I don't really travel much. She lets out a confident chuckle. So I can't hold your hand. I need one of them in white marshes, in the wetlands far west of here. Other than that, you need to keep your eyes open. She takes one of the rods. Once you reach a good spot, place one of these as high as you can. I'll pay you in dragons, 2 for each one. But place at least 4 before you come see me. I need as many of them out there as possible. What are they for? Well, there's magic in them, as you can imagine. You weigh a rod in your hand. Even though it's more than 2 feet long, it's light, empty inside. You could bend it on your knee. The bag also contains a long hemp cord and a scrap of cloth. If I were to send my golems away, let's say a mile or 2 from here, they'd stop moving at all, waiting for me to show up. She approaches the nearest sentinel and touches its chest, then carries similar rods inside. So the plan is to give my orders to better the range, so to speak. I'm tired of depending on hirelings, especially since they no longer stop by. She leans against the golem with her arms crossed. Questions? Okay, so she wants to, build a Wi-Fi network. How much time do I have? Before the leaves turn yellow. Okay, so before autumn? And I can be sure no plans to raid the village. Yeah, you're not going to send an army of golems, right? I won't ask for your trust if I don't need it. Either help me or leave the rods. Some of the locals won't be happy. She gives you a puzzled look. Wardens do have their ways to get on people's good side, correct? I may be forced to pull some strings to get it done. 2 dragon bones won't be enough. You haggle for a bit, but her distrust is like a wall. She waves her argument. I'm not a merchant. I don't gather coins for the thrill of it. I'm putting almost 20 dragons on the table here. Should be enough. Do all 8 rods, and I may prepare aught else for you. Okay, we have a deal. We got something there. We don't care too much about the golems. I don't think we care about it yet. I don't want to ask too many questions. I don't know if this is like actually removing her trust because we're just wasting her time. I want to learn more about the peninsula. I'm not selling gossip, nor am I buying it. If you need one, ride south to the pelt of the north. The keeper is as stiff like a broom, but offers a nice room. Her voice is dripping with annoyance. Or if you'd rather visit a cheerful place, ride north to Foggy Lake. Or was it Foggy's Lake? Whatever. Foggy is the keeper. At least she's not as boring as the other guy. Okay, so we do got to go north anyway. To follow the trail of the pheasant feathers. All right. Okay, I think we're done here, but we're not going to be able to get back in here unless it's morning. So we're gonna have to get this key so we could sleep at that place. Let's do a quick save. And I think we travel. I think we're ready to travel. Let's head north. With no trees or crags blocking the sun, the road is bright and inviting. The simple bridge is centuries old, bitten by time. It makes you think of the dolmen you saw south of here. The torrent here is deep and fast with plenty of fish. The boat is destroyed beyond repair, rotten, falling to pieces with holes in the floor and on the sides, overgrown with fungi and moss. The thick shrubs lining the path are covered with thorns. Small birds are jumping from one twig to another, pecking at the brown berries. You think about picking some of the fruits, but you're not sure if they're edible. I'll take a closer look at the fish. I look around for maybe I can find something of use. We gotta be careful. Like, odds are we're gonna hit this town. And that's the goal. We gotta get to the town before nighttime. But how can I say no to this? What if we find... It's loot! There could be loot anywhere! I look around for an hour or so. We have 8 hours until dusk? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Maybe we can find something. After what feels like an eternity of searching around the boat, the banks and shrubs, you sit down on the bridge and take a break, then you realize you haven't actually looked beneath it. You kneel on the grass and look into the darkness. Among the cobwebs and bugs, you spot an old piece of fabric pinned under a rug. You pull it out and find a rotting, torn pouch that contains a single dragon bone. You make sure you haven't missed the other ones in the dirt, but if they existed, they have rolled down rolled down and sunk for good. Put the pouch away and stand up. That's fantastic. Money's hard to come by in this. Gordon peacefully chews the grass, enjoying the sun on its back, ready to take a nap. I look closer at the fish. You see dozens of red and gray shells. As you walk by, they stay close, following your steps. Alright, I guess that's it. I bet you we could put, like, a fish trap here. But our trap is way over here somewhere. Mundane jobs. Never thought of actually, like, reading these things and looking at it. So this is where the mundane jobs are. Alright. Oh, right, I forgot about this. The dolmen. Alright, let's keep going to the north. Oh, this doesn't sound good. The gentle road leads downhill, getting greener and less rocky the farther north you get. Just in case, your eyes run toward a few drier parts of the meadow, and you instantly shout at Gordon to make haste. A pack of short-haired wolves, at least 20 members strong, is chasing... What is this game with 20 beasts always coming at us? They're chasing after us. Their coats are a mixture of yellow, black, and white spots, as if someone threw mud and paint at them. They move toward the road with a human-like speed, and you realize only some of them are running straight at you. They're trying to cut through my path. Can I eat? You can't use it right now. Damn it. What's this? Oh, the bronze rods. They're trying to cut through my path. If it wasn't for your palfrey, the beast would have already caught up with you. Their trap was perfectly set up, not leaving you any path of escape. Your terrified mount is disciplined enough to stay on the beaten path. And even though one of the big-eared wolves almost sinks its teeth into your mount's thigh, you manage to squeeze between the hunters. For the next few minutes, you do your best to get further away, and while your gallop is indeed faster, the wolves easily shorten the distance by moving through the sparse forest. You ride past a wooden cabin placed in the clearing at the bottom of a rock face, but you can't stop while the pack is at your back. Maybe I have something I could use here. You think about your sacks and bundles, but the pack won't wait for you to sort things out. The group gets larger the further you go. How many wolves are here? And even more of its members, previously hidden among the trees and grasses, now join the hunt, allowing their tired family members to slow down. You may be able to lose them after some time, but scaring or wounding some of them away may force them to give up on their prey sooner. We can't use the axe. I think we gotta use a crossbow. We have no choice. Ready, the ballista! You have 3 quarrels left. You reach for the drawn crossbow and bolt and lock your sights on the closest creature. You wait until you learn its rhythm, then shoot once it's in midair. The arrow flies through the wolf's flesh, causing it to let out a pained cry and plunge to the ground. Its concerned allies howl with fear and anger. While a few of them try to keep up, many more stay behind and surround their pack members, protecting it from potential threats. These are smart wolves. After another few minutes, you are alone again, this time at the edge of the hills. Gordon is tired but patient, more happy to survive than it is angry at your wanderlust. At least you can hope the pack will move to a different place during the night. I let it rest for a bit and look around. Jesus! I don't think I've ever heard in like reality or any fantasy story of a wolf pack that sprung an ambush, that was waiting and lying in wait, hiding in the bushes, sprung an ambush, and their numbers were greater than 20. There was like 30 or 40 wolves that were unified. That's incredible. We need to study them. The hell is this? The valley is flanked by the hills. To the west, the grasses and bushes blend into the horizon and turn into another part of the forest. The southern hills are gray and tall, with fortress-like rock faces and a crown of conifers. The northern ones have countless sand-colored rocks lumped together like piles of rubble and clay, bearing hardly any soil or weeds. The plants here are struggling. The grass is short and yellowish, sometimes dried out. The bushes have silver leaves, like many plants from sunny areas. The mushrooms can't hide in the shadows, but as you approach one, you see it's growing from the remains of a dead bird. Disgusting! While others are covering old branches and other plants. They won't last much longer. It will be easy to spot any larger beasts around. You have to squint to spot the first threatening creature. A runner is in the far east, close to the hills, though it completely ignores you, walking around and observing the grass, looking for its next prey. You don't have to worry about it for now. There are boot prints on the road, as well as the short grass, fresher than on any other part of the eastern road. Since many mushrooms were cut away with a knife, and you notice few berries on the shrubs, you conclude it's a foraging spot for the people from the north, though there doesn't seem to be much food left. There are almost no prints leading farther south. I could try to forage for a bit. It's getting a little bit late. Oh, let's go. We got wild plants for days. You let Gordon keep itself busy while you walk around looking for anything edible. It takes a fair bit of time. You don't plan to carry around raw mushrooms and bugs, and the wild vegetables need to be washed before you put them in your bags. You finally find a few handfuls of plants, fruits, and nuts. Next time, however, it's not going to be easy, especially since you're the runner. A bird both taller and wider than you observes you carefully, at first from a distance and circling around you. After about half an hour, you hear its piercing screech. Is that what we heard before? As the creature runs at you, shaking a beak larger than your head. You throw everything into a sack and get on the saddle. I should avoid this place while it's hanging around. Yeah, let's get out of here. We don't want to mess with that thing. I hope we're not going too deep. We got to get to this town. 5 hours. Okay. I'm going to take a quick pause, and I'm going to get some throat lubrication in the form of water and potentially tea. Oh no. Momento, papa buddy. And we're back. I decided to get a nice... It's a nice, like, kiwi smoothie. I found it in my fridge. I don't know how long it's been there, but my God, is it jam-packed with the vitamin Bs, and it doesn't really taste that good, but we're going to roll with it. I may have also ate 6 olives. I don't know about you guys. Olives? Come on. Olives are just one of the greatest little snacks. Like when you're just walking past the fridge and you open the fridge and you see a jar of olives and they're just looking at you. You can't just say no. You can't just ignore them. They're demanding it. They're requesting you to bask in their presence, to let the salty, savory sweetness. Well, I guess not sweet. But they want you to be dancing on the tip of your tongue and just devoured. I once have a legendary day. It's marked on my calendar somewhere. I can't remember where, but I remember marking on my calendar. It was sometime in August. I had a legendary, the night of 20, where right before going to bed, I just had the munchies, and I opened up a thing, and I just ate 20 olives straight. I just couldn't stop. 20 olives, and then I went to bed. Mild heartburn. Worth every penny, especially if you're getting the good olives. Like I get the olives that are a little bit bigger, and they're stuffed with garlic. Oh my God! Oh, whoever made that needs to win the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize. Because I bet you, if we ever go to like a World War III, you know, and we're not going to talk politics or anything like that, but it looks like it's getting a little bit spicy these days. Let's be real, it's getting a little bit spicy these days. I don't know why the people in charge can't figure this out. I don't know why they can't figure it out. They just talk to each other and bring a jar of olives. Sit down. Like, if I was gonna go meet the leader of a nation that have high tension with, I'm not gonna go and meet with them and bring nothing. I'm not gonna bring them a bottle of wine. Everyone brings you a bottle of wine. They make their own wine. I'm gonna bring a nice thick jar of olives and a block of cheddar cheese. I'm just gonna walk in there and just gonna put it on the table. Just boom. It's good to be talking to you, sir. What do you think of this? Can we put our differences aside and share this jar of olives? How, like, peace. Peace will be had. I gotta run. I gotta run for politician of the year. Anyway. I apologize to anybody who's actually here for the game. This is gonna happen. This happens, especially when I take a break. My brain, like, resets itself. The more I read, my brain starts to slowly shut down. I take a break, and all of a sudden, some stupid topic gets fired right in there. I'm pretty sure I have some mild form of ADHD. Let's go. The air is humid, but fresh, vitalizing. Vitalizing or revitalizing? The wheel grammar police. The light touches the road and shrubs, blocked only by a single willow. I love willow trees. Wild and untrimmed, especially when they're wild and untrimmed. You're by a lake, too large for you to see the other bank, but the local soil isn't too fertile. There are only a few trees on the horizon, while the struggling bushes and grasses fight with layers of rocks. The path leading further north is green, bright, and calming. A gray rabbit is cleaning... My apologies, I think I ate too many olives. Oh, I got a little hiccup there. A gray rabbit is cleaning its fur near the brook, but the sound of hooves make it hop toward the nearest shrubbery. Right after it sinks into the leaves, you hear it squeal, cut off quickly. Whatever its hunter was, it leaves behind only the rustling of the thicket and a trail of blood. Oh no. You wait for a moment with your hand on your axe, but the creature doesn't return. You relax a bit, then turn toward the stone statue of a young woman. Yes, let us get closer to that. Such a monument would be a better fit for a temple or a rich city folk's house. Here, without any cover, it's already losing its shape from the rains and dust. Chunks of the face and hair have already broken off. It has detailed eyes and human-like proportions, and the clothes are like fabric petrified by a spell. The statue carries the usual traveling equipment, a walking staff, a gambeson, simple pants now covered by leaves. It's a shame to see it deteriorating. I look at the pedestal. Maybe someone left a valuable offering here. Oh my lordy. Trinkets and baubles? Yes. You dismount and approach the bushes covering the legs of the pedestal. You see some old wooden bowls as well as rocks. You try to push the leaves away, but their stems are thick and healthy, crowded with insects and spiderwebs. Ew. Until you remove the thicket, you won't be able to see if there's anything worth stealing. Thankfully, there are no thorns, and the touch of a leaf doesn't make your finger itchy. I'm not going to steal from this thing. If it's overgrown like this, it's like a woodland lady creature statue in the middle of by an old willow tree. This thing is some nature goddess. This is something like, we already have the finger of the divine blood tree that we took before. It's not stealing, and the abandoned statue needs no gifts. No, not when you're dealing with eldritch gods. In about half an hour, I could use my axe to cut down the bushes and twigs. That's too much time. I consider washing myself in the stream. I step away. I don't know about this. I don't feel... Not until we meet the people of the city. If the people of the town are, like, all rude, and they're not giving us any places to sleep and stuff like that, and they don't want to buy our fish, then we can come here and defecate. No, not defecate. What is the word I'm looking for? We don't want to defecate anywhere. Except approved locations. That's how the plague starts. That's probably what happened to old Pagos. People just defecating in the streets. That we can defile. We can defile this statue. In a PG-13 way. Travel. We're not doing anything here. It's getting dark. This looks like a town up ahead, maybe, or some kind of traveling caravan. The lakeside is filled with chirping of cicadas and crickets, as well as the roaring of beasts from the hills. The tall yellow grasses are interwoven with flowers and bumblebees, while the peaceful water shines just as much as the wings of dragonflies. This road is often traveled, and the clatter of hooves carries far. Thanks to the vast field of view, the creatures hiding in the meadows are unlikely to jump on a monster as large as Gordon, especially one as sturdy and well-built as Gordon. What a beast of burden. He is absolutely astounding. In the distance, you see a palisade and a large building set on the side of a crossroad. Once you get closer, you hear a conversation from behind the wall. Two men are arguing about if they really just heard a horse. I guess, yeah, people haven't seen a lot of Gordons in this world. Maybe they know some useful rumors. There's no signpost anywhere nearby, so I better ask for directions. We're gonna see if they got any rumors. You know, we're looking for jobs. Ain't nobody gonna be thinking about doing a job. Gordon carries you toward the open gate on its own, welcoming an opportunity to rest by pushing out the air loudly through its nostrils. A nearby wooden pen won't offer much space for a horse, but should be enough for grazing and a nap. As you dismount, two men get up from the front stairs. Their clean-shaven faces reveal that they're in their early 20s. The first one is taller than you, broad-shouldered, and wears a light brown pants and a darker jacket, both of them made of leather. With an inviting smile, he gets up and moves to open the enclosure. His steps are heavy and slow, but every movement is marked with care, ensuring he won't knock down anything, or anyone. The second man looks as different from his colleague as the sun from the moon. He's usually short and wears a heavy cloak made of black fur, so large it could cover his entire shell. He opens the door of the building, hides his hand, and peeks into the room.
Foggy!
His voice is shrill and unconcerned.
A messenger come?
I take off some of my bundles. Let my horse rest. A hanging barrel sways in the wind, marking the place as an inn or a tavern. The building resembles a merchant's house from Hovleven, whitewashed and well oiled. Why is everyone oiling their house? Elegant wooden beams. The fragile walls are high enough to avoid floods and snow, but you have no doubt that a troll or even a pebbler could easily break through them. The palisade is short, has hardly any support, and has no walkway for crossbowmen, hardly enough for even a makeshift hamlet. Yet it's the open harbor that makes you uneasy. Aside from the fish, any creature, aquatic or not, could just walk into the... Any creature, any fish? Any creature, aquatic or not, could just walk into the yard undisturbed. The path is covered with paw prints and claw marks. Okay, I had to process that. Because in my head, I thought it meant like the fish can walk. But no, you can just walk around the palisade, basically. It could be like just a human. Or some kind of gorilla. Better not leave Gordon outside during the night. I agree, we love Gordon. A black and white bird swoops into the water, then flaps its wings and takes off with a silver twitching creature in its talons. The large man clears his throat.
And what have we here? Coming from afar, friend? There are no horses and howlers.
His voice is stentorian. Close to a shout, you vaguely recognize his accent as one found at the city harbor. Quite far, kind soul. Gordon came with me from Hovleven. I laugh. Far, far away indeed. You can't see it from here. They have donkeys and mouflons, but no horses. I came from the city. I stare at him in silence. Then look at the door waiting for the keeper of this place. Yeah, I have a long journey behind me, but I need a place to rest. I don't know if I want to rest with these jokers. He was pretty nice to us, but there's an oddity to this place. Not well protected. That makes me feel like, I don't know, maybe they're working with people who protect the place, and maybe they're working with the bandits or something. I think we'll continue the playful attitude. We want to match this guy. He's playing with us. We're going to play back. He puts his hand onto his forehead and pretends to look out for something above the lake.
But I do see well enough. The city hides you in the voice. A long way you had.
You hear heavy footsteps. A woman shows up in the doorway and looks at you from the top of the stairs. She's even more towering and stout than her son, the man who just welcomed you. With a massive chest and a pear-shaped face with a prominent chin, her movements are composed and confident. She may be older than 50, with a mixture of gray and dark blonde hair. She has only one arm, the left one, notably muscular, and with a hand so large it could likely chop off Gordon's head with a single strike, or crush yours like a berry. Holy hell. Through the slit of her robe, made of creamy worn fur, you spot her trunk-like legs. She runs her eyes over your blade, armor, and mount. Her lips form into something of a smile, distorted by the scar that runs through her mouth. The tall guy looks a lot like her. I don't think anything in this world is going to look like her. He spreads his arms, forming a chin. A chin? He spreads his arms, forming a new chin and a face that emerges from his chest. Forming a chain between you and her. Meet Foggy. Friend. Ma, the rider has come to us from Hovleven. I had a brain fart. Such a long way. His powerful voice turns amid, and he keeps turning his head from left to right and back.
I bet you're hungry, eh?
The woman looks at him with amusement, then glances at your palfrey.
If you're after food, I hope you know how to hunt. The land here is barren for us, but it's feast for boars, squirrels, and sparrows.
She vaguely stretches out her only hand.
Oh, what brings you to Foggy Lake, love? I just stopping by.
Her voice is hoarse, like that of a traveler who's spent too many autumn nights in cold tents, yet carries a hint of motherly concern. Wait, this is Foggy Lake? This is the town that they talked about? This is the place where we can get some rest? I close the animal pen behind me and head toward the stairs.
You won't find another shelter in the parts of the Dragonwoods, especially not in the creeks.
She scratches her broad chin with sausage-like fingers.
You drink?
Oh, we absolutely do. I smile in good company. I shake my head gently. I don't, but go ahead, I'll accompany you. I make a single loud clap and rub my hands together. I wouldn't dare to insult your hospitality. From time to time. It is only with those I trust. Everyone has said that these people are very friendly. And very welcoming. And much more interesting than the other people. Like, the enchantress kind of didn't warn us about these guys. So if we end up getting screwed by these people, then the enchantress, we're gonna have to burn her. Like the witch that she is. Burn her!
If she weighs the same as a duck, then she's a witch.
I wouldn't dare insult your hospitality. Her brief, powerful laughter is enough to scare away the birds from above the lake. Your mount lets out a fearful snort. You have to visit Creeks, dear. They will love you there. Come, share a story with me and a mug. Without waiting for your response, she walks inside. The tall man takes a deep breath.
Go ahead.
We'll take care of your horse. He encourages you with a gesture. And by that, he means he won't... And by that... who's talking right now? And by that, he means we won't do anything with it, adds the man in black fur. Whenever his screechy words follow the deep voices of his companions, he sounds like a brat. We won't be feeding or washing beasts that aren't going in a stew, but we'll keep an eye on it. If you dare touch a hair on Gordon's beautiful, well-kept head, I will say some very mean words to you. They find new spots to rest, the side of a boat and a stool near the palisade. I ask them if they plan to join us. The large man chuckles. We don't have any guards. We need to stay sharp. No drinking, no leaving valuable possessions behind. He nods towards your horse. We'll feast in winter when we get a break from this place. He thinks for a moment. No, what? We're planning a humble hunt, he says. For someone with a thinking soul. Come speak with us once you're done. I nod and go up the stairs. I don't know why he talks like that. I think he's got to, he needs to get out more. The narrow segmented window shutters let in a lot of light without letting the beasts inside. The air is humid but carries not a hint of putridity. Oh, I want to add that to my vernacular. Putridity. The heels of Foggy's boots make her steps thunder, even though the planks don't creak. Make yourself at home, she says without looking at you, heading to the trapdoor in the corner. I'll just grab a little something. Your ears catch the screeches of hunting birds and the wind that leaks in through the windows, but other than that, the room is quiet. I am concerned. I feel like they're going to eat my horse, and I am going to get drugged. I investigate the main hall. It's crammed with stuff. There's bear pelts on the ground. Would be a nice resting spot, but the place doesn't look like a real home. No chests, no cabins for clothes, no toys, tools for simple crafts. That would fill the time during any rainy evenings. Living with so many windows in winter would be a struggle. One could clear this place in one morning and move all that's worth saving into a single wagon. A wagon, you say? The only things of exceptional value are the cauldron made of pricey steel and the hanging head of an insect-like monster. Its mandibles don't move, dim eyes seem intact, and its armored head tells a long story of survival through scratches and cuts. I looked at where the ladder leads. You climb up the simple rope ladder and reach the attic. It smells like a haystack. Why am I actually climbing? I just want to look. I don't want to be rummaging around this person's house. The floor is covered with animal furs, bags, and clothes. There's a soul sitting in a corner. A bearded man in his 20s who has only the right hand. Though unlike the tavern keeper, he has kept the rest of his arm. His sleepy eyes observe you without a word. After he greets you with a nod, he starts to put on his boots. Okay, I check the basement. The meager light hinders your view. There are dozens of barrels, sacks, stone tools, bowls, and pieces of roasted fish or bird meat. Foggy notices you but doesn't say anything. She looks for something among the bunch of bottles. There's a couple more animal trophies placed on the top of the barrels and leaning against the walls. Fangs, claws, monsters' heads, and a lizard's skin. Quite the collection. Alright, let's sit down at the table. You take a glance at the blood on the table. Pardon me. the scattered yellow feathers, and a bowl of guts and talons. You find yourself a clean stool. Foggy shows up soon, smiling, holding 2 cups in her hands, a bottle in her fingers, and a cloth under her shoulders. She puts everything on a stool and wipes the table clean. Forgive the mess, just part of the job, she explains with a hint of apology. I'd rather dress birds in the yard, but the blood lures beasts. Sometimes the folks from creeks bring us meals, but we need to take care of ourselves. That makes sense, that's fair. She throws the bloody cloth back into the bucket, making a splash, and sits down at the stool, making it look like it was made for a doll. She rests her elbow on the table and looks you in the eyes. Her voice is warm yet intrusive. So who am I dealing with? I introduce myself. The bottle removes its seal seemingly by itself. The wax floats in the air briefly, then lands on the table gently. Without a word, she pours a thick liquid into the cups with only her hand, but doesn't offer you your drink just yet. Okay. Okay. We're trying to learn more. We're looking for a Astarion. That's always something we want to talk about. We're going to need some shelter. We may need that. It's getting quite dark. I hope to trade a fair bit in the coming days. I want to see what you can get here. I'll leave behind some coins. I was hoping to find work. If nothing else, I can always carry a message for you. Okay, okay. Let's start by learning more of the peninsula. She sighs and grabs her cup. It looks like she could crush it with just 2 fingers. I don't see what's in it for me, dear. I'm sure you'll find those who crave a pair of ears to fill it with gibberish, but I run this place to get more from it than I put into it. She places the second cup in front of you. It's made of dim brown wood, humble, wide, and short. Its surface is cold, rough, but elegant. In Hovleven, such vessels are often ornamented with metalwork, from bronze to gold, and bears all sorts of carvings and pictures. Keeping me around is an investment. Don't you care about getting on a Roadwarden's good side? Yeah, let's go with that. Now that would be 10. Are we speaking about one who's going to prove their worth and, let's say, truthfulness? Or is it just a... Holy crap, she has a lot to say. Or is it just a monkey? Not a horse who asks left and right for a free meal. Her sudden grin makes you flinch. The tales in this corner of the land are as quick as a snail, but I've my ways of learning who makes waves around here. Why now? Go ahead, enjoy your drink. You raise the cup to your nose. You smell flowers, yeast, and hops. Oh, that sounds like a good one. A little flowery and hoppy. The liquid is golden on the edges, but resembles red amber in the center as it's thick. It's as thick as a herbal medicament. I've never seen that word. You take a look at your companion, seeking a hint of what's expected of you. In some places, people gulp down their mead, but your vessel allows you to appreciate the aroma. The huge keeper smiles and takes a sip. You follow her lead, allowing the drink to pass your lips. That's right, you never just chug a good brew. You sample that and you savor that at first. Let the robustness fill your mouth and hit every aspect of the tongue as it quenches your ego thirst. It's warm, hiding none of its subtleties. Drinking mead is a never-ending conflict between holding the taste in your mouth and saving yourself from the tormenting sweetness of honey. This is amazing. Yet the flavors of flowers are just as present, too difficult to capture just yet. Foggy leans forward with an elbow resting on the table. Well, for me it's a lazy day. At least the rains spare us, so nicely holding off till the evenings. What brought you north? You don't... I kind of want to just jump to the Astarion stuff. Yeah, what brought you here? What brought you north? Once you burden of dead friends and relatives, clean tables start looking plenty tempting. She leans forward and takes another look at her bottle, stealing it with an approved nod. My ma and pa were both big, and strong. One time, they saw me sitting on this kid, twisting his arm, so they started to teach me. Staff duels, running, lifting barrels and rocks. Thankfully, the army chieftain said I wasn't disciplined enough. She rubs the scars on her forehead. So I did a lot of things. Escorted some merchants, joined a group of adventurers, hunted for bounties, guarded a village temple. The last memory makes her voice gloomy. Not all of these things make me proud of myself. The temple, is that going to be the temple in the burnt down village? Or is it going to be that weird rock temple that we found that also seemed to have like scorch marks along it? She smells the meat in her cup, but doesn't take a sip. I moved here only after I lost my arm. When the folks were fleeing the invasion, I took my Ilan, a casket of dragons, and joined a more organized group. Arm or not, I still have a fierce punch. She lets out a pleased grunt. I was worth keeping around. Her voice can't hide that she's delighted to carry on with her tale. Now that the years are catching up with me, and even more so with my back, I need to build myself a decent shelter. I crave no adventures, but I'm happy to hear stories from other restless souls in the meantime. I'll practice this little trick. She points at the cauldron in the middle of the room and starts to make circles with her fingers. The ladle mimics the movements, mixing the stew from another minute or so. Or a minute or two. That's also good for my back. So you can move things with your mind. She's a freaking Jedi. What's going to happen next? You build a real wall. You seem to be into some expensive drinks. I nod toward the spot where her arm should be. Yeah, I want to know what happened there. This may fill in the gaps with the invasion, because she seems to be directly involved with whatever happened to that first town we went through, and it seems that to be connected with an invasion. She leans back, moving her shoulders and chest up and down as if she's having a soundless chuckle. Not one I'm going to share with a newcomer, dear. Stay alive until next autumn. I'll open a cask of cold cider and tell you quite a tale. It has treason, treasure, monsters, and dark spells, but I'm way too sober for it now. She grabs her cup. Her wink turns into an awkward blink. Alright, so you can move things with your thoughts. Can't you? I don't know much about magic. I don't need to lie. She wants honesty. Now that's a mystery. I don't know much about magic. Without a teacher, there's not much you can do. My grandparents used to be great mages, but not great enough to survive the plague. Her scarred lips from a former grimace. My ma got no talent from them. After a year of training, she was hardly able to move a feather by a foot. I always knew I had a strong pneuma in my blood, but there was no soul there to teach me how to use it. She examines her cup. The ladle stops moving. I'm trying to figure it out by myself, but I may not have enough summers left. Okay. What's the story behind this place? It's our third summer under the roof of Foggy Lake, but the palisade is older. It used to be a camping spot for the bird catchers from creeks, and there are fish here that don't swim in our streams. When we were but newcomers in the north, these lands were hard to bend, but the beasts got used to us with time. A melancholy crawls into her eyes. She observes the mead in her cup. Every year or so, we added something new. The rocks for a campfire, some stools, a fence, a firewood shed, a boat. At one point, we brought the lumber from White... Even the name White Marshes, she switches it to White. The White Marshes. And built a cabin, like the one at the Eastern Road. More folks started resting here, even traders from Gale Rocks and Old Pagos. A plenty fine spot for an inne. Her smile is warm. I'm building my home from nothing, you could say. And not for the first time. How about you? Does any of it sound tempting? My home is wherever I can find kind people. That's something I can ask myself after I've saved some dragon bones. That's a dream. A place far away from Hoblivin, somewhere where I can rest after a day's work without an aching back. That is 100%. Absolutely. You speak my own words, love. My own words. We have a good home here in the north. Not a safe one, not a fun one, but there's plenty of food and plenty of things to build. I'm already luckier than most. She looks at the place where her missing arm used to be. How do you stay safe from the beasts? You're completely open from the lake. Your name's Foggy, and this is Foggy Lake. Is the tavern named after you or after the lake? That's fair. How do you stay safe from the beasts? Quick legs, love! Her brief yet thunderous laughter makes you flinch. We don't leave any food outside, but our cauldron smells. Every now and then something scary shows up. We lock ourselves in here for days if we have to. Our windows help us keep an eye on the yard. Better that than leaving the hamlet to goblins. You mentioned that having no wall from the lakeside is quite a risk. She nods in agreement and takes another sip. We don't bring children and old folks around, but this part of the peninsula is not so bad, at least in sunlight. Not much food growing or running around unless you can live on fish and birds, and the folks of creeks are great hunters, the greatest around. But isn't there a harbor in the city as well? How'd you keep the creatures away? They used to avoid in Hoblivin. The guards and sailors make it too dangerous for them. They mostly stay in the water, waiting for trash or drunkards to fall off the bridge. Every now and then, something large shows up between the boats or even enters the streets. People learn to run away and leave it to the soldiers, but from time to time there are casualties. It's actually the flying beast that bothers us. I love how, like, the characters also ask you questions. I've mentioned this before, and you can build the lore yourself about what this hometown used to be. I'm kind of leaning towards, like, if this is a big city, there's going to be a whole bunch of trash and drunkards that are falling off bridges. I'm going to say that. Chilling! One day we had such a thing here. During our first summer, 2 adventurers got drunk and went to watch the lake after dark. We'll hide if anything shows up, they were saying. In the morning, the water was red and their rags were covering the rocks. Damn. Your name's Foggy. Tell us about the name. The lake has no name. She moves her cup away and leans forward, resting her elbow on the table. Her voice is playful, warm. Yet, I mean, but there will be stories about this place, believe me, and about passing by the lake while getting to Foggy's. I may not be a dragon slayer or a holy woman, but one way or another, my soul will live on in my name, tied to these walls. She looks at you in silence, then bursts into a laughter. You could swear she makes the jars shake. I'm plenty fine being vain. Not everything that's vain is wrong. It's better to stay humble. No, you know what? Sometimes you need to have a little bit of vanity. You know, I think from what this woman seems to have lived through, she's lost her arm. She's been like fighting in wars. She's survived through it all. And now she's building an entire like life for her and other people. And she's surviving out here. Be vain. Confidence is necessary to keep stability, not just of the mind and the soul, but of the people that are respecting you. Not everything that's vain is wrong. She observes you in silence, lets her chuckle. Very true. Eating tidbits may be dumb, but in fair shares keeps our souls stronger. Exactly. I like this girl. I like this woman. Foggy, you're the one. Any interesting beasts you hunt for? What's going to happen next? Will you build a real wall? You seem to be into some expensive drinks. What about the beasts? Oh, I hunt for nothing, she smirks. Not since I lost my arm, and the boys outside are not made for it either. They've no drive to fight, you see, and grew up to be wimps. They sometimes club down a hare, but we're all about foraging and bird traps now. The folks in creeks do the real hunting, she adds after a pause. Runners, mouflons, rats, sometimes a buffalo or a saurian. We have no soil for fields, so game meat is all we have left. She stretches out, getting even taller. Do you hunt often? I'm about to starve. If I'm about to starve, I don't enjoy killing. Sometimes I set up traps. I don't risk facing big games. In Hovlivin, you won't find much aside from rats and pigeons. I do. Making a monster bleed makes me feel alive. I'm going to say if I'm going to starve. Or the traps. We set up traps to survive. Like, we're not going to go super, like, you know, animals are the greatest. We're not going to... This is a harsh world. And in this world, those kind of mentalities I don't think would have kind of been established yet. You need to hunt to survive. That's just like a necessity of life. So I don't think... Maybe in the big city. Maybe. I don't really know how big this Hovlivin is. But I think we would. We would set up traps in the forest when needed. But we're not going to take down the big stuff. That's hardly a hunt, is it? She leans forward, chuckling. Picking up a dead bird from a loop is the same as pushing away a warm corpse that was just pinning you down to the ground. She looks toward the open window shutters. Not the same, but probably smarter. A friend of mine was a real huntress for a year or so. What's going to happen next? Will you build a real wall? Why not? Then grow my connections in the villages. Buy more hard drinks. Build another shed, a cabin even. And hire a private warden for these roads, you know, for my guests. She sips from her cup, looking at you. But it's all in the distant future. We, at the Creeks, need to take care of the eastern route. Clear it for the traders. Without trade, all I have is the locals, and they don't even use dragon bones. But why'd you care, dear? Are you planning to stay around? I would love to be your private warden. I hope to stay on the road, visit other parts of the Dragonwoods. I'll see what the future brings. I think we don't know what we want to do, but we'll see what the future brings. If you're offering us some positions, then I like it. As we all will. You like expensive drinks? The pricey ones are gifts I receive or treasures I found when I was young. I also bought a few. I like to offer something unusual to the wealthier or more promising guests. She tilts her cup. I dabble with some recipes myself. I've plenty of brewing tools, though I can name maybe half of them. Still, from ales to hard drinks, I had some success. Does this mean she considers us a promising guest? Ho, ho, ho. We're in, boys! Let's change the topic. I must say, love, I rarely meet folks with that many questions. She gives you a warm look. What hides beneath them? Nothing, just getting to know you better. I was hoping to learn something useful. We all need friends, don't we? She rests her hand on her stomach. We do, but some of us need them more than others. I'd say it's better for me to have a peek into a Roadwarden's head. A good one could shake things up a fair bit. The bad ones, well, they die quickly. Speaking of a bad warden, I'm looking for Astarion, the previous warden. She looks at you for a longer moment without the slightest movement. And why'd you think he's here? Is he here? I'm not saying that I do, but maybe you know where I can find him. I don't want to poke too much. I misunderstood you. She shakes her head and leans on the table. I don't know his whereabouts. He didn't tell me a thing more than I needed to hear. When was the last time you saw him? She glanced at the window. Same as the others. In the late days of spring, we were waiting for his return, me and all the villages. Then moved on. I have no idea where he went. Me and all the villages. So this guy was doing something. He was onto something, and all the villagers were waiting for him to return, and he just vanished. Huh. Exactly. All of the villages, you say. She turns towards you with the fierceness of a bear. That's what I said. What can you tell me about him? She rests her only hand across her stomach, which you identify as her version of crossing her arms. A customer and an errand runner. What's there to say? Your additional questions don't get many more answers. She brings up the man's looks and equipment without adding much to what you've already learned from Tulia. He was paying with dragons, rarely bartered, she adds. That's what city folk do, aye? Seeking riches, then locking themselves in a chamber, prisoners of their might. This is it, because I'm trying to make her like me as much as I can. So I don't think I'd shrug. This is showing that I'm not like that. Smile is like, okay, that's funny. City folk, well said, but that might be admitting that that's what I'm doing, seeking riches. That's not what I'm aiming for. We'll see, love, we'll see. Oh, don't worry, Foggy. I like you, and you're gonna love us. Did you do any jobs? She presses her tongue against her cheeks and lips. Well, I'm not sure. He was bringing me news or delivering my messages. Sold me some stuff sometimes, bought a thing or two. His life wasn't really that riveting. Just another mug guzzler. Sitting in the corner, patching his clothes. Did he sell you anything unusual? Such as what? Something he found in a weird place. Something useful. Maybe I could buy it back. Something that hints to where he went. She frowns. I'll tell you if I think of anything. I don't want to press her too hard. Not until, like, we have some trust. We got to build trust before we start asking some of these questions. Yeah. I heard there's some bandits in the north. She makes an annoyed grimace. What can I tell you, dear? You know how it goes. Lost souls need a new path after an awfulness finds them, but the years go by and it doesn't get any easier. One day, they take a pile of firewood. Another one some bread and clothes. After they start hurting folks, there's no way back, even if they're not at all cruel. You ask her some more, but she's reluctant to give you straightforward answers. You don't have to worry about Glaucia's band. They hunt, sometimes take this or that, scavenge after folks who get jumped by beasts, but she never tried to threaten my place. You're safe here, and why would they try to bother a Roadwarden? She might be right. Some bands are just desperate. I frowned but bite my tongue. If Hoblin sends its soldiers here, she may face consequences. No. Some bands are desperate. We're not going to cast a judgment. She grabs a cloth and starts to wipe the table. Okay, she's kind of, I think, at the end. We don't want to push her too much. I do want to say I'm looking for work, because I want to make sure she knows we're here to help. What do you have for sale? Now you're talking, she grins. Well, I could serve you some of my cooking. Food rations, say you give me a dragon in return, I can cook for you 4 times? Wow. Okay. After a minute, she shows up with a sack and clangs after. I could sell you some scraps. She pulls out a couple of iron clasp nails and broken steel blade of value trash. We found some while foraging. Okay, let's take a look. A set of bits and pieces made from iron scraps. 4 meals bought in advance. You have 0 meals left? Oh, I understand. I pay her $1, and every time we come here, we can get a nice meal. I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with that because I also want to begin this discourse of like, yeah, I want to support you. I'm going to be coming back, and I plan to come back. I don't think we need this right now. I don't know what this is going to be for. Boom. You've paid for 4 meals in advance. That's amazing. Okay. I have some things I'm willing to part with. She doesn't want anything. All right. I'm looking for work. She grins. I somehow doubt you're here to forage for me, love. Not that I have any room for another soul. Let me think. She runs her eyes over the shelves and the trophies, but it's the rocks surrounding the fire pit that catch her attention. The folks at Old Pagos are weirdly quiet. They were supposed to drop 2 wagons of rocks at my place. Can you check on them? Just find out they're fine. Ho, already good. You mentioned the payment. I won't take much work from a rider. You can get there and back in less than a day. Just ride west of here until the road takes you south to the crossroads. Turn west again and you'll find the village. I'll give you, let's say, a dragon bone. You say that it's not much, but she waves it off. A Roadwarden should get familiar with all the villagers anyway, right? Just do it when you have a chance. I'll have more coin for you once you prove you can be trusted with a simple task. I bring news from Old Pagos. It's not good. It's not good. We got money. Listening to your tale, she rubs her forehead. Well, not what I was hoping to hear, love, but I'm glad you went there. Better warn the other settlements. Folks should know before they send their own messengers. It's going to be a rough few seasons for all of us. She pulls out a dragon bone from her pocket and tosses it into your direction. Here, good job. She steps towards the ajar door and looks at the lake. Okay. Want me to do anything else? She scratches the stump of her missing arm. Her powerful voice carries a hint of a threat. I need a soul who can handle a delicate task, and I'm not sure it's you, my dear. All right. We need to somehow build trust with her. Any interesting rumors? I know this and that. Which place? What can you tell me about... a crap. Map. Howler's Dell. We want to know about, the ruins. I think she was a part of this. There are many places you could call that dear. Oh, shit. What was the name of this place? A once prosperous village, now abandoned and full of debris. The Elder's Cave. The Elder's Cave. Aye, there are druids there in the old flooded mine. I don't know much about them. They keep close to Howler's Dell, helping with animals and plants. Only 2 of them ever came to Creeks, soon after we built the first palisade. My Illin was but a baby. You ask her what they said, and she puts her fist to her forehead. They had no guards, no weapons, not even a wolf. We're older than I am now, but we're walking down these roads as if they owned them, and came to warn us, the shamanic twaddle you can hear everywhere, that we are to stay humble and respect their woods. It's the same as it is with the priests of Unites, dear. You keep your eyes low, nod without a word, and let them go and do your own thing. I was hoping she'd say the name, so I could know how to address that guy. How about Pelt of the North? Our bros over there. It's a place in what used to be an outpost of dragon hunters, older than mine but finally renewed, far away near the pass that leads to the Hag Hills, an inn so you could rest there or buy yourself some food. Eason, the innkeeper, leads a group of big game hunters, though when they're together he's like a cloud above them. Otherwise they can be a lot of fun. They haven't been here long, must be not much more than 10 years, and they mostly keep to themselves. This person knows a lot about the area. They've been here for a while. Foggy Lakes, the statue of a woman. The statue of a woman, yeah, what's that about? Statue of a woman. That old gal from Gale Rocks told me it's the Wanderer, a spirit who looks after travelers. She's centuries old, the spirit, not the statue, and needs gifts. Just a bit of this and that, to pay for her own food and shelter. At her feet, one should spare an apple, a dragon bone, even a pretty pebble. Those who skimp on her will one day be in need, and will see a woman with a staff on the horizon, too busy with her own struggles to help them. Foggy frowns, moving the scars on her forehead. But how do we know what these travelers saw? Beats me. Okay. One should spare an apple, a dragon bone, even a pretty pebble. How do I do this again? Archive? Journal. Okay, new note. Statue of woman equals wanderer goddess? Leave apple, pebble, or dragon bone equals oh yeah. Confirm. I still don't know what any of this stuff means. Smokehouse poppin' time. Okay, return. We should do a quick save. How about this is a lore dump. We're going all out. The cabin. Why don't I remember this cabin? We found the tower. We crossed over to here, but I think we just kept running, so we never got to go into the cabin. Yeah, what's going on with the cabin? My tribesfolk from Creeks built it for hundreds of years back. A damn mistake of ours. Runners ate 2 of my friends before we finished construction. We should have waited for a few more years. Let the animals get used to us. But now the roads are not much better. So that must have been those the big birds. Maybe they're called runners. All right. I'm getting interested. The old bridge. I don't care about that. The abandoned watchtower. Huge. The abandoned watchtower. It used to be a safe shelter. She looks through the door. Its walls could stop even the larger beasts. Well, maybe not a dragon, but there are no soldiers around here, and without traders, also no mercenaries. We asked adventurers to occupy it, but all they ever did was grab what they could, hunt for a bit, then went away. Eudocia, the enchantress, said she cares not about keeping the tower in one piece. We don't even have a key to the main door. It's in Gale Rocks. Oh-ho! Oh-ho! Archive. Journal. New note. Key to old watchtower is in Gale Rocks. Get it! Confirm. You ask her what you can find near the watchtower. Eudocia is to the east, the road through the heart of the forest to the west. Far away to the south, you find a dolmen, but no soul looks after it anymore. The road north leads here, though the stone bridge and foraging grounds. How about a fjord? The dolmen. Yeah. What's going on with the dolmen? At the southern road, eh? It must be centuries old, but I'd rather spend a night in a young inn, thank you. I know hunters used to make campfires there, but I bet it leaves sticky soot on the walls. Isn't it weird that there are no other chapels in the north? Maybe they were all dismantled. Stone has its price after all. I show her the key I got from Akakios. Do you know anything about a secret spot in there? Something with a lock? Pardon me? I have no memory of this. She raises it to her eye, as if the hole in its bow is about to reveal the hidden entrance. Centuries old, her half whispers remain sonorous and confident, but not as ancient as the chapel itself. Try digging. As she returns the key, it looks laughably small in the palm of her hand. Maybe you'll find a clue where to dig exactly. I think we did see that. We just need something to dig with. How about the tree, the beholder. Her broad shoulders form a straight line. It's a dark thing, this beholder. It gives me chills. The druids told us it's been here longer than any human, but I don't know why they keep such dark magic around. I heard that it eats souls, but you know, gossip gets cruel when it's about pagans. That's true. Very true. Very real. The fallen tree. Maybe she'll be able to tell us about what happened. A fallen tree. Maybe she was involved in it. Ah, you bastard. A rock slide. She's probably not going to know this one, yeah. What was that town's name? Howlersdale. Howlersdale. There's a lot to say about Howlersdale, dear. Her eyes dart around, and you have to press her before she says anything of note. It's in the middle of the western road among the safer lands, and has a large forest garden. Its folks eat and dress well, and have plenty of guards, and the strong spells of their druids. She scratches her knee, measuring every word. Whatever you do, remember to laugh at the mayor's jokes. Her name's Thias. Don't get in her way. Her voice is as grim as her eyes are serious. You recall your memories of Thias, a thin, smiling woman who likes expensive dresses. Foggy's could squash her in a blink of an eye. Okay, so we gotta laugh at her jokes. New note. Laugh at Howlersdale Mayor jokes. Thias. She likes it. Alright. I think that's all. I don't think we really need to talk about Tullia's camp. We talked about the Elder's Cave. We need to know the name of this place. I wonder if we, do we have that in, is it in the journal? Groups and places. Bandits, Camp Creeks, Druids, Gale, Rocks, Heart of the Forest, Hunters from Hoblivin, Howlersdale, Monks, Old Pagos, White Marshes. Oh my god, we got a lot of quests. Support for Ruined Village. I've arrived at the ruins of a village that used to be set in the southern road. It may be important to figure out what happened here and if it can ever be re-inhabited. I heard the village was destroyed almost 10 years ago. The event occurred at the same time as a few others. Newcomers arrived at Pal to the north. Eudocia left... Oh, it's keeping track of all this stuff. Eudocia left Old Pagos, and people stopped using the road leading through the heart of the forest. So all this happened at the same time. I had a symptom of illness while exploring the village. Okay. The nearby clear was massive. We don't know the name of the place, though. Why can't I scroll? There we are. There we are. A wooden wagon and a set of tools were thrown into a river, all right next to each other. It was unusually wealthy. Okay. There's a quince tree. Okay, we don't have the name of the place, sadly. Alright. Alright. What do you know about Hovlevin? Nah, I wasn't let in. She burst into laughter and tried only once when I was seeking asylum. Too many folk did the same. It was as far away from the front line as possible. Still, not far enough. I didn't want to sit at the gate waiting for folk inside to die and make space. I headed to the peninsula with the rest of my group, and I'd say we got lucky. A few days later, the dragon burnt 100 souls, if not more, and many others were lost to the nights in hunger. A dragon? Holy crap. The monastery. Right. The monastery was weird. How about the monastery? Do I look like a pious woman to you? She moves her bent arm up and down, flexing her muscles. The monks came to the mountain long before I got here, taking over the old pagan caves, trading their crafts for food with old pagos. Now, the entire village follows their teachings, and those who live in the monastery can stay inside as long as they want. A friend of mine needed to talk with them, so she called them with something like a bell, and then she stood by the gate for an hour, waiting for anyone to speak with her. You ask her for any interesting rumors, but she apologizes with a shrug. It's a place of secrets. There was this late fire mage from Gale Rocks, truly a dear. He told me that whenever he slept there, he felt as if his soul was stronger. Fingers lighter, spells brighter, he used to say, while the howlers got him anyway. Jeez. I think that's all the places. Maybe the gate is the last one. Let's ask about the gate, just in case. Oops, not map. How about the gate? Let's be grateful to old pagos that the gate is still standing. They built it all on their own decades ago, and it keeps the wingless monsters away from the western road. It's too bad that the route beyond has overgrown. All right, thanks. That's a lot. How about the necromancers? I don't like what they're doing one bit, but I can't blame them. The folks at the White Marches struggle, and they don't know how to protect their kids, their elders. Orentius, their priest, she cracks her shoulders. A quiet man, but preaches like a zealot. Always looks like he's on the verge of crying. She opens the door with a wave of her hand, letting in some fresh air. She looks at the lake. They used to trade in lumber, those from marshes, until Howler's Dell started selling their own trees for better prices. The trade to marshes died, and so came the hunger. She looks at you with an unclear grimace on her lips. You may judge them, but at least their preacher gave them hope, even if it's tied to black magic. Okay, a lot of gray in this game. You can't really identify something as evil or not. There's always like evil tendencies going on, but it's for a greater good, kinda. Okay. Could I spend... Oh, didn't we already talk about the peninsula? Let's spend a night or two under the roof. She approaches a window and table. Your beast won't make it easy for us, dear. She places her hand on the shutters. It's not a city inn. I don't cook for a smile. I don't work for free, to feel noble. I allow folks to lie down there for free. She points to the bear, the fruit of the branch, but that's about it. If your horse stays outside, it'll lure the beast to us. But if we move it here upstairs, it'll leave its droppings on my floor. She gets annoyed, even by the idea of it happening. If you want to rest your love, be ready either to pay with a coin or some food rations, or to spend the night keeping your mount quiet and clean after it in the morning. Will you? Yeah, I'm okay with that. If my horse poops everywhere, that's my job to clean up. I traveled to the 4 major crossroads that connect the peninsula. Interesting. These are like achievements that are going on. It's getting kind of late. A shelter has been unlocked, so I think we can come back here to sleep if we need to. Time for me to go. I could wash myself in the lake. You enter the bridge and move. Somewhere below you knows a glimmer. Hey, you, step back, run. Without even thinking, you leap towards the yard. A long teeth-filled mouth breaks through the water surface, splashing in every direction, and bites an empty place where you were just standing, with the front limbs thick-scaled and ending with claws as large as your fingers. Jesus! Land on the wood. Once the saurian's yellow eyes notice you on the outside, it nonchalantly slides into the lake. See you later, sucker. You hear laughter coming from the yard. The large forager, who's wearing leather, was running with help, but now stands with his hands on his thighs, cackling without the rest. The man in black fur, on the other hand, looks at you with worry. You see a hand kept beneath his clothes. He was reaching for something. What are you doing, The lake isn't for outsiders. I gasp for air and thank them for the warning. I'll stay away. Don't you worry. Yeah, that was very nice of them. I approach the foragers. Tall one spreads his arm, thundering his loud voice. A Roadwarden. I guess we're going to see a lot of each other. I'm Ilan, and this shorty here is Svi. The man in black fur looks up frowning. There's also the one-handed man you saw in the attic. Unlike the rest of the staff, he has an unkempt beard and worn clothes made of blue fabric, patched with scraps of flour sacks. He's looking down to examine a trap, but his shoulders are slumped, eyes absent. Ilan doesn't introduce him. Stoutworthy, nice to meet you. Ilan smiles. Were you at the Pelt of the North yet, friend? He blushes. How is Dalit doing? She's well. Seems to keep the whole crew together. His voice gets drowsy. Her soul is young, but everyone listens when she speaks. She's always so bored, that one. His smile turns into a grin. Better say hi to her for us. Her boss was looking for hard drinks and healing potions. I wish I could have helped her. He glances at his companions, who's currently observing a column of ants running alongside the palisade. They were offering good prices, and she was really good at dice, and told us about so many monsters. Zvi adjusts his black cloak. Our traps won't fix themselves. What brings you to us? Ilan frowns at this interruption, but says nothing. Oh, we gotta find information about this guy, don't we? Have you ever met Erastos? They exchange look as Zvi adjusts the dark cloak. We don't hunt at all that much, just catch birds and so on. Why don't you try in creeks? Alright. Do you know Tulia? The man gives you a surprised glance, but then looks down and crosses his arms, holding his hand under his shoulder. I'm a new man now. There's nothing that ties me to the army. He has the accent of the city folk, same as yours. You've crossed a great part of this land, greater than most. Have you seen anything unusual? He takes a deep breath. His voice is close to a whisper. There's fog in my soul. I was on the eastern road. This is the friggin' Roadwarden, isn't it? This guy's the Roadwarden, I think. This is Asterion. Or whatever his name was. There's fog in my soul. I was on the eastern road, hungry and sick, praying for the right to send its beasts on me and save me from the pains of living. I remember the touch of fur and the breath on my neck, the claws pinning me to the ground. I was waving with my eyes closed, then I woke up in the middle of the night, still feeling. I got back on my feet, walking until I reached the lights of this tavern, without so much as a bruise. Foggy may have no faith in her heart, but the right used her kindness to give me a second chance. Ilan frowns at the man's words, and there's cautiousness in his voice. He may be crazy, but it's true. He came here after midnight, raving. Maybe the monsters don't like his scent. So you forgot? He hides his stump in the palm of his hand and curls up. I've seen a dragon eating a tree, an ape that tore away the head of a monstrous cat, and a wolf without fur that was as quick as lightning. Now leave me alone, evil spirit. Let my shame rest. He's shaking. Let him be, Zvi grunts at you. Nothing wrong but a man trying to forget. Ilan rubs his chin. A furless wolf friend? I've heard about one. Our tribesfolk saw it in the heart of the woods, a nasty beast. Let's hope it won't find a mate for breeding. It charges at you like a runner and jumps right at your throat. He touches his neck, so even the hunters stay away from it. Too bad we've no crossbows. He raises his wooden club. Better to avoid the deep roads without one. Good to know. I can use some work. Glad to hear that. There's hardly any fruits left around here and even fewer mushrooms, so we're planning to do some bird catching and soon a hunt without killing. What do you say? Why would you need my help with birds? Don't you just let them walk into your trap? How much are you paying? I mean, it may be just a scary trip, but it won't take long. It was just show up here at noon or before it. We'll be back in a few hours. You'll get 5 dragons! 2 if the bird dies. That's a good price for one afternoon. I can't leave my horse behind. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. Ilan waves a hand, just like his mother. The idiot will take care of it. The one-handed man starts to object, but a harsh shut up from Zvi makes him sigh. He shrugs. Okay, he's a loony. We can't say no to 5 frickin' dragons. These won't do. We catch a runner this big. Oh, it's the runners they're trying to catch. Aha. The man with one hand interrupts him. His voice is weak but disdainful. Beasts ought to be dealt with, not tamed. Bonding with monsters bring only death. Will bring us full bellies in winter, squawks Zvi. Oh, this could get really dangerous, but we gotta do it. What's your plan exactly? Grabs a rope and shakes it in front of you. We'll catch its neck. Your part would be to keep it from running. Don't hurt it. Just make it busy enough for us to surround it. I feel like I could use better equipment. This all sounds really dangerous. That's why I want you to do the rough part. We're just forwarders. A Roadwarden knows how to fight, right? At least it's on its own, without its flock. I feel like I could use better equipment. Well, you shouldn't need weapons for it, friend, but you may look for something worthwhile in Howler's Dell. And then points west. Akakios is all about trade, not much for idle talk, but he sells things for all his folks. You're putting me in front of a large beast just for 5 dragons? That's bullshit. You haggle for a bit. It's also firm. You'll get 8. Ask for more and we'll do better buying food at Howler's. What are you going to do with the catch? We'll tell her to the palace for a day or two, then take it to the creek. So try folks have enough to spare. Okay. Okay. Is there a problem with supplies and creeks? The exchange looks maybe a misfeed, but not big enough to make us pay you more. Fine. I'll tell you once I'm ready to go. All right. So we got to go back to Howler's Dell and see if we can buy something for this. I want the full money. If it's going to pay us 8 and we can buy something for like 5, we got profit, right? Right. This is good. This is good. I walk away. If we travel, oh my gosh, there's still more to go. This is great. So this is probably going to link up to this place. We got to get to that one, what's it called? That one town. But I think we're going to stop here. I tried to go a little bit longer this one because it allows us to progress quicker, and these episodes are going to be coming out a little bit less than others, so we may not be able to, we may not see the next one until next weekend, to be honest. But yeah, I do want to dedicate to finish this because it's such a unique game. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for being here, and until the next one, enjoy whatever you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Get out of here.